You want to clarify the mission and the vision of your company into one single thing that the entire organization is focusing on. So, when Steve, I'm sure you know the story of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs started Apple. When he first started it, it was doing amazing. He got it to become a really successful company. A little while later, the directors of the company did not like the vision and the direction that Steve Jobs was wanting to take the organization, so they fired him. Sometime later, the organization, the share was failing, the share price and of the organization was falling. So they hired Steve Jobs to come back again into the organization to help it thrive and to make it profitable. The first thing that Steve Jobs did when he came back into the organization is he told everybody that they were going to have to stop doing all the multiple different, I think, all the multiple different products that the organization was doing. I think that the organization was focusing on something like, I don't remember the exact number, but it was some huge amount of numbers that Apple were focusing on. They were trying to make this product and that product and this product. And Steve Jobs said the entire organization has to focus on one product. We're either making the iPhone 6 or we're making and nothing else. The entire organization, whether it be the marketing, the PR, the manufacturing, every aspect of the organization had to be focused on one product. And that helps people actually become more productive, because the assumption a lot of leaders and mistake a lot of leaders make is that in order to be more productive, in order to be more effective, we've got to do more. But actually, in order to be more productive and to produce better results, you've got to do less, but do it to a higher quality, right? How you innovate, how you become the best in your area is to do the same thing, but do it so good that nobody else can beat you, or do it so well that you make breakthroughs, you innovate in that new area. You cannot make innovations when you're focusing on 20 different things. So the first thing that I would share with you is, when you're going through crisis in an organization, refocus the entire company to focusing on one thing, which is, what is the one thing that your organization is heading towards? What is the one thing? And the thing that you want to do is that you want to constantly bang that to everybody within the organization. And this is going to connect to the second thing that I'm going to talk to you about in a moment, right? Because you cannot bang that message onto everybody unless you're actually going and seeing everybody. And the temptation for a lot of leaders is to tell everybody via email, right? No, you will actually need to go into the branches and see your people regularly. But the point is, you need to focus on one single vision, one thing that the entire organization is doing. So let me use my company as an example. I could be doing workshops. I could be doing things on relationships. I could be doing things on depression. But the one thing that I focus on is goals. The one thing that I focus on is reaching your objective, right? Is becoming successful. That is one thing at the moment, as we're going through this crisis, that I'm focusing on. Everything that I do is all encompassed around how can I help people get forward. And that makes my life so much easier. It reduces the amount of stress in my life. And here's now where it gets even better for you. When you have people within your organization all working on the same problem, inevitably branch managers and people like that are going to meet, and they're going to be talking about the different problems that they're all experiencing. If you've got the entire organization all focused on one problem, on one thing, guess what? They're all going to be helping each other, which is going to create a sense of community, which I'll get back to in a moment. But again, focus on one thing. So that takes us back to the next thing that I want to share with you, which is that you want to go back to the basics. You want to go back to the basics as a leader. Number one, what are the basics? You want to go back to going and seeing each one of your leaders. That means every single week you need to go into a branch and meet somebody. Whether it be the manager, whether it be the people, whether it be the mortgage department, whether it be the sales department. You as a leader should be spending, when you're going through crisis, you should be spending more time on the ground with the people so that they can see you instead of at head office, instead of being sat in your office. You need to be there with the people, because what causes fear is when you don't see the leader, right? I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Titanic, but when you're watching the movie Titanic, you know that when the captain disappears, all hell is going to break loose. Because when there is no captain, people are just, anarchy takes over. People just go mental. So as a leader, there has to be a clarity, a focus. You have to be there with the people. They need to be able to see you all the time, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is communication. You need to be communicating with your people weekly, meaning you need to be sending out, for example, emails about things that you're reading. So here's an idea that I would encourage you to do. Every week, recommend a podcast that you're reading, recommend a book that you're reading, and that you'd recommend to your staff to look at or to go and read themselves. Talk about the benefits of it. Maybe there's a book in, maybe you've got a marketing organization and there's a really good book on marketing to 16 and 25-year-olds. That book, read it, and then do a review of it and send it out to every member of your staff via email. It's going to take much more effort, but that means your people are going to know what you're doing. You're going to be showing them what they should be doing in their lives. You know what I mean? That's why I go back to you've got to lead by example. The next thing that I would share with you is to focus on the people and their families. So when you go and see your people and you're in the branches, you need to be focusing not on asking people when are they going to get the next sale, when are they going to get the next hit the next quarters. You need to be talking about their families. How is your brother? How is your sister? How is your mum? How is your grandparents? Is your grandparents out of the care home yet? Have you had your second jab? Did you guys decide to take a jab or not? Do you understand what I mean? You need to be talking to your staff about what is their lives like, because your weekly emails that you want to be sending out should be based on the worries of your staff, right? Oh, I know last week I was in the Reading branch and I spoke to Phil, and he was saying that he was worrying a lot about whether he's going to be able to get enough time off work to be able to look after his grandma in case she takes the booster jab. Right? So then you incorporate it and say, as a company, anyone who wishes to take time off to look after a loved one because they're taking the booster jab, we will give it to them. Do you see what I mean? Now you're caring about the people. When people know that you care about them, they will give you way more of who they are than if they know you don't care about them. Okay? Let's go to the next point. So that also creates a sense of community. Because one of the key words that I really, really want to get across to you is you need to create a sense of community within your organization. If you've ever watched animals and animals are in danger, the first thing that they do is they huddle together. They get together, right? I remember I was watching penguins, and penguins, when there is a crisis, when there's a blizzard, a really heavy blizzard, what the penguins do is they huddle in with each other and they rotate. To keep the heat going between them. Ones come on the inside so that they can get really cold, and the ones in the middle get warm, and then they keep alternating, and that's how they actually survive. So it's really, really important when you're going through a crisis that you essentially create a sense of community that is basically your organization against the crisis, right? And so the other thing that I would share with you is to create little things like meals for the branch. So I used to work for a company many years ago called Romans, and when I first joined that group, the CEO of the company went out for a meal with the staff, and I thought, what a weird thing. Why would a CEO take out time in the evening, like 2 hours of his time, to go for a meal with me? He doesn't know anything about me. But I learned now over the years that and even when I was still there after 6 years, the CEO was still doing this. And what I learned was that the CEO was getting into the organization and teaching people that he's real. Part of the reason why I say to you that you need to go into your branches regularly is that most people, as a general rule, will not tell their manager the problems that they're experiencing, but they're more likely to tell you as a leader. I don't know whether you've seen that program, The Secret Boss, right? It's unbelievable how many, all the solutions and the problems that exist in your organization, your staff, the people at the bottom, know more about what's going on than the managers, right? And most of the meetings that you have are with your managers, and yet you're trying to figure out what are the problems in the organization, where should we be heading. So if you're wanting to find the answers to those questions, what are the problems, what are the trends, where are we going, you need to be down with the people, which means things like creating regular meals every week. Go out for a meal with your staff. When was the last time that you went out for a meal with one of the branches? Most managers, senior managers, have never done that. When was the last time that you've got your region of managers and you went to have a meal with them, and you went to golf with them, and you went go-karting with them, right? These very simple things you're going to need to do. These are basic stuff. And it sounds ridiculous, and it's like, Kasim, I have so many other things to be worrying about than freaking going for a meal with the staff. But if you want to get the respect and the morality and the community of your organization, and you want to rally everybody together, they need to know, firstly, do you care about them? And secondly, you need to lead them by example. Because if you are doing that, the rest of the other staff are thinking, God, wow, this organization genuinely cares about us. So people will do more for other people than they will ever do for themselves, particularly if they know that that person cares about them, right? So that's really important. The other thing that I would share with you is that you want to encourage people to take more holidays in your organization. So a lot of the time, people will take holidays in the summer or whenever. If you want people to keep their morale going, their motivation going, you need to encourage your staff to be going on more regular holidays, right? Encourage your staff to take, so this can be encompassed within your weekly email that you send out to each individual person in the organization. So for example, you can get a deal with, I don't know, a local hotel, and all of us, and you send it out to your organization and say, guys, I've made a deal with a local hotel. Anyone who wants to spend a long break at this hotel, if you quote our company and this code, you will be able to get 30% discount. That is how you encourage your staff to go on more holidays. And when they come back, they're going to be more refreshed. They're going to have a vibrancy, and they're going to have a tenacity and an energy to come back. What you don't want to be doing is getting people taking holidays every 6 months, every 7 months. It's too long. People just people are so anxious and they're so apprehensive about everything that is going on at the moment, that if they can take time out to have breaks and they can take time out to relax, they're going to be a lot more productive when they come back for you, right? The second thing that I would share with you is to send out, the second thing, or one of the other things I will share with you, is to send out emails to each leader weekly, thanking them for the work that they're doing, right? And here's now where you take it to a step even bigger, is each week or every month, send out an individual written hand letter to your managers in your region and thank them. Handwritten, not written in a letter to get your assistant to type it. Handwrite the letter yourself or a card and thank them and send it to their address. Not with your company's stamp, but with your own an actual stamp, and send it to their home. Watch what happens to your motivation, to the motivation of your managers, to the motivation of the staff that are working within those organizations. Yes, it's going to take a long time. Yes, it's going to be frustrating. Yes, it's going to be effort. But the effect of doing these things is so much greater for you in the long run. I cannot over recommend it. So those are the ideas that I want to share with you. I don't know whether they've been useful for you or not. But essentially, that is, if you will do those things, go back to the basics, stick to what works, stick and strip everything down to the absolute core, and have one vision that everyone is going towards, I think will be really useful for you. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that